You know, when I look around at all the entrepreneurs who are grinding it out, spending 70 to 80 hours per week growing their business, you have to ask yourself the question, at what cost? Hi, my name's Tim Uchuk, and in this podcast, we're going to be exploring the tools, tactics, and strategies for crushing it and scaling your business without making the ultimate sacrifice of your time and freedom. Hey, what's up, everyone? Tim Uchuk here. It is a Monday at the time of this recording, and I'm coming up for air between meetings. For those of you that follow the podcast, I like to front load my weekly meetings on Mondays and Tuesdays. So very heavy on the operational weekly meetings, Monday, Tuesdays, so that I can free up time on my Wednesdays and Thursdays. I often say my Wednesdays are my gift to myself for my Tuesdays because they're quite busy with coaching for our program as well as operational meetings for my other business. So I've got a quick gap here, and in this episode I'm going to be talking about metrics. Specifically, I want to talk about two metrics that you should really focus on, or at least I recommend you focus on them in your business, in order to ensure long-term feasibility and in order to ensure that you and your employees make decisions for the right reasons, which are ultimately should be for your clients, for your customers. And oftentimes, entrepreneurs get a bad reputation. We've got some, I won't get political, but there's some elections coming up, and entrepreneurs get vilified sometimes, and there are some bad apples out there when you look at some of the monopolies and corruption that's happening within some certain industries. But by far and away, my opinion is entrepreneurs are the ones who solve the problems and innovate and make the world go around. We're compensated for the value that we create, right? And the value that we create is directly tied to the problems that we solve. And so the corruption, in my opinion, comes in, and we get a bad reputation because there's this fixation on money, right? And that's part of it. We got to make payroll. We've got to pay for our overhead and taxes and all that kind of stuff. And we have to focus on the money. That's all part of the game. And that's what makes the businesses grow and feeds the economy and so on. But where that can sometimes get us into trouble is when we only focus on those things, with our team, our sales team, etc. When it's only sales focused and not necessarily results focused for our customers. And now this is top of mind for me because I've been burnt over the years by marketing agencies, for example, that in my mind, a lot of times I think their focus must be just on getting the customer through the door and not so much on getting them results. And they'll give some reports in terms of traffic they're able to get, but in terms of actually generating sales and holding themselves accountable, it's very rare. This is why 5-6 years ago I decided to put most of my time and energy into getting a deep understanding in modern marketing, Facebook ads, and I've gotten pretty good at it over the last couple of years. Mainly because I wanted to learn how to fish myself and not get the wool pulled over my eyes from these marketing agencies. So it's happened to me time and time again. And my thinking is that not necessarily that marketing agencies are malicious. I don't think this is intentional, but I think that internally their metrics, they must not be focused on the results of their clients as a metric for how they're, or benchmark for how they're doing. And so the two metrics that we've implemented in our business to help prevent people from just fixating on seeing customers as numbers is these two things: reviews and ratings. Reviews and ratings, because if you think about it, or sorry, referrals, referrals and ratings. I clearly need some lunch here. So referrals and ratings, what does that mean? It means that if a customer is willing to refer somebody else, that's the greatest compliment, right? When you're talking to a colleague or a friend and saying, hey, I know this business you have to talk to. I've had a great experience. I'm going to refer them. That's the greatest compliment. That's the benchmark. If you're measuring and looking at that, that means that a lot of things need to happen and fall in place in order for you to get steady referrals. So you should measure that, because there are a lot of companies out there that do really well on the sales front, but we've all been the recipients of poor customer service where they get away with it for whatever reason. Maybe there's not a lot of options out there. Maybe the bar is really low in terms of service levels. But the referrals won't come if the ability to generate good results for the clients aren't there. If the client experience isn't good, you're not going to generate referrals. And the same with reviews. So think in terms of Google My Business, think in terms of any type of customer rating or testimonial. If you're not able to generate those, then there's a good chance that your business has some holes that need to be worked out. And so if you want to get the focus there, again, my whole mantra, what gets measured improves, what gets measured and reported improves exponentially. If you want to have long-term feasibility, obviously having the ability to create clients and to create, long-term clients comes from, in many ways, you can measure that from their willingness to either refer you or to rate you and give you a strong and positive rating. So I recommend, if you're not measuring those two metrics, which are referrals and ratings. Easy way to do it, by the way, in our weekly leadership meeting, we've got a simple scorecard. You can do this in a spreadsheet if you want. Week over week, we just plug in the number of how many ratings did we get, how many referrals did we get, and if it's 0, 0, 0 week over week, number one, maybe you don't even have a program for generating referrals or ratings, so you're not intentional about it. But if you aren't, you should, because I mean, this also, by the way, feeds into your marketing. Because if you've got more reviews on Google My Business, for example, you're going to come up higher in the search. So you're going to create a bit of a nice little flywheel there. But you're also going to be communicating the right message to your team and to your culture in terms of, we're in business for our customers, and the only reason we're able to put food on the table and employ you is because our customers. Without our customers, we're nothing. We're big fat nothing burgers. So two very important metrics. And on the flip side, if you only look at sales, then that sometimes gets forgotten and left out, and the focus doesn't get on how can we make our customer experience better and better and better, little by little, every day and every week. And if you're focused on that, then everything else will kind of, if you think about it, you're going to generate more repeat business. You're going to generate more new business, and again, it'll create a flywheel. So really make sure, I want to emphasize that you focus in these areas. I know, there's no malice intended by the marketing firms I've worked with, but the fact that they have not, listened to my feedback and what success looks like to me, and they're treating me like a number. In other words, they're using the same program, whatever is convenient, efficient for them. They've got automations for allowing them to churn out more and more customers. Well, the experience on the customer side has suffered, and as a result, you're not going to get a referral or a solid rating. And so if that metric is in place, then you're going to make decisions differently. Maybe in the absence of it, you make some decisions on some automations that are going to be really, really efficient for you and your team. But if your customer experience is suffering, then that's a trade-off that's not worth it in the long run, because it's going to hurt your business and it's going to cost much more than you'll otherwise make from the efficiency gains. So just make sure if you're looking for efficiencies, automation, stuff like that, it's not coming at the expense of your client experience. So again, just to wrap this up and summarize, the two metrics that I think every business should have in place, monitor and pay attention to, are number of referrals and customer ratings that come in on a regular basis, ideally weekly. By the way, if you in manufacturing, another measurement that we like to use are this notion of internal customers. So your employees are your internal customers, believe it or not. And within your business, you've got internal customers. For example, I'll use the example of if you had a service type business, let's on the mechanical side, so auto body or manufacturing, something like that. Somebody who orders parts for internal work, Their internal customer are the technicians who are doing the work, who are needing the parts, right? So we have had internal, if you've heard of the Net Promoter Score, so out of 10, how likely would you be to recommend this person or review your happiness? You could have neutral, positive, or negative, right? So you've got a -1, a 0, or a +1. Different ways to skin the cat, but you can look at the internal customer as a benchmark for your service levels as well in your organization. So another way to look at it. But anyways, just to wrap up, the two ratings I recommend you look at within your business to ensure long-term feasibility are the referrals. So how many referrals are you generating or able to generate on a weekly or a monthly, as long as you're measuring it, right? And then ratings, number of ratings you're able to generate on a weekly or a monthly. Weekly's ideal, but yeah, whatever, as a good starting point is at least paying attention to those two metrics. So I hope that's helpful, guys. I'm gonna grab some lunch here, and I will catch you on the next episode. Hey, Tim Uchuk here, and real quick, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you could take a couple quick seconds to give it a rating, it would be very much appreciated. And secondly, if you're looking for more tools and strategies on how you can crush it in life and business, just head on over to bookwithtim.com, where I've put together a free case study which shows you how to unlock unprecedented freedom today by using the two power levers. Just head on over to bookwithtim.com. Until next time, wishing you success and freedom in your business. Cheers.